Acharya with Sportstar, and over the next 15 minutes today we are going to not only review the 3 playoff matches from IPL 2023 but also look forward to that all big finals between Chennai Super Kings and Gujarat Titans, which will be played at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad on Sunday. But before that, let's start with Qualifier 1, which was incidentally played between the two eventual finalists, of course, Gujarat Titans and Chennai Super Kings. The game was held at Chennai's home ground, M.A. Chidambaram Stadium. Gujarat Titans won the toss in that game and decided to bowl first on what was a traditionally slow chip-off surface. There wasn't much turn, however, stroke play wasn't easy, as was evidenced from the difficulties faced by CSK opener Devon Conway, who has been otherwise in excellent form. However, what we also saw was a glittering example of just how good a player Ruturaj Gaikwad is and is going to be, not just for CSK, but if given the right opportunities for India as well. He made batting look extremely easy and scored a very valuable 60 in the context of the game. CSK also had contributions from their lower middle order. Ravindra Jadeja, Moeen Ali chipped in with very important cameos and took the score to about 170 odd, which I must admit at the halfway stage, given the fact that Gujarat and Mumbai Indians are the two best chasing teams in this IPL, 170 didn't exactly look a threatening score. A challenging one, yes, but not threatening for sure. However, what one forgot then was that one combination that no one seems to have found a key to was at play. Dhoni, Chepauk and Chennai Super Kings. It was a slow wicket. Mahendra Singh Dhoni had his array of bowlers at his disposal. The slow ball bowlers came to the picture as early as the power play, and once that happened, they stifled the scoring rate pretty easily. However, we also got to see another great innings from Shubman Gill, who's been in terrific form this season. More on him a bit later in the video, but Shubman Gill seemed to be the only one who was at ease against the CSK bowlers, as they brought out a mix of slow balls, off cutters. Barely did they bowl with pace on. The most important wicket of the run chase was, of course, of Shubman Gill, which was set up by Deepak Chahar, who bowled a slow ball bouncer, and in a bid to force the pace, Gill miscued a pull shot and was caught. Now, let's talk about the bowling of these two teams. Now, it was always going to be a match between CSK's batting and Gujarat's bowling. One look at the wickets tally this year would suggest why. The top three bowlers, the top three wicket takers this season all belong to Gujarat Titans. And Chennai, on the other hand, have an excellent batting department. They bat really deep. This is not to say they don't have a good bowling attack, but they've got a bowling attack which is very suitable for their home conditions. Otherwise, outside home they can prove to be costly. Whereas Gujarat have got the variety. They've got Noor Ahmed, they've got the wily leg spinner Rashid Khan, and in Mohammad Shami, an excellent exponent of the power play overs, which we saw during their bowling, because they didn't let CSK get away with it. It did look like CSK missed a trick, given the fact that they had a very deep batting order. They could have perhaps forced the issue a bit more once Ruturaj got set, but this is, of course, in praise of just how good a bowling attack Gujarat has been throughout the season. Now let's talk also briefly about the two captains, Hardik Pandya and Mahendra Singh Dhoni. They're often looked at as master and apprentice, and this game was going to be decided as much based on skills of the two teams as on the captaincy moves made by the two players, Dhoni and Hardik. Now, Dhoni, there was one moment. Hardik, of course, had not batted in the game prior to that qualifier, but he promoted himself to number 3. And in a tricky chase, his wicket was always going to be important. Realizing that the scoreboard pressure was going to take a toll on the Gujarat batters, Dhoni, before the ball that eventually led to Hardik's dismissal, brought an extra fielder on the offside and forced Hardik to go aerial, and in trying to do so, he was caught. So another great example of how Dhoni, although 41 and nursing a knee injury right now, continues to be as agile as a cat when it comes to using shoot tactics on the field. However, it did seem like Hardik missed a trick. Vijay Shankar, who's been in quite good form of late, wasn't sent at 3. Hardik brought himself up. Now you can't really it's in retrospect it's easy to criticize the move, but it did seem like they missed a trick by not sending Vijay Shankar, who by the way plays for Tamil Nadu in the domestic circuit, so he's very well aware of the conditions at Chepauk, and who knows how things could have been, because he did in the company of Rashid Khan bring Gujarat back into the game briefly before his dismissal then eventually sealed GT's fate. But all in all, it was a pretty exciting game between two teams who would go on to punch the ticket to the final. Moving on to the eliminator, which was also played in Chennai, of course. It was between the Mumbai Indians and Lucknow Super Giants. Two teams that had firepower in the batting, and when you compare the bowling attacks, Mumbai has been weaker for obvious reasons. They've been plagued by injuries. Bumrah didn't play this season. Archer played a few games, but it was barely effective. The spinners, with the exception of Piyush Chawla, haven't been that penetrative either. Lucknow, on the other hand, had excellent variety. Led by Kunal Pandya, they had bounced back in terrific fashion to make it to the playoffs. So it wouldn't be wrong to say that Lucknow perhaps started as the favourites in that game. But let's not forget, Mumbai, led by Rohit Sharma, have won 5 titles, and there's a good reason for that. They have championship DNA in them, and they know how to perform in crunch situations, as we saw in that game. Now, it was a different wicket compared to the one that was used for the Chennai Gujarat game. This one, was slightly better for stroke making, and Mumbai ended up making 180 odd, which again, given the depth that Lucknow had, not just in their batting but in their power hitting, it didn't look at the halfway stage that was going to be enough. However, Akash Madhwal's brilliant fifer ensured that it was more than enough to put Mumbai into qualifier 2. Madhwal has been one of the finds of Mumbai, there is no doubt about that. And to do that in the absence of Bumrah and Archer, and to step up against tough oppositions in pressure situations this year, has been the hallmark of Madhwal and Mumbai's campaign. So yeah, that was about that game. Moving on to the final qualifier 2, which was played between Gujarat Titans and Mumbai Indians. Now that game was going to be interesting because Hardik Pandya, of course, was with Mumbai for the longest time. He made a name for himself there, and here he was taking on his old franchise. Mumbai Indians would have known that taking on GT in a must-win game was never going to be easy. These are also two teams that have been excellent while chasing, so it was proving to be, or rather it promised to be a high-scoring game. Now there was a little bit of rain around before the match began, which perhaps encouraged Rohit Sharma to win the toss and bowl first, hoping that there will be a bit more seam movement for his quicks so that they can exploit it and take early wickets. But boy, oh boy, was he wrong, because they are about to run into a guy who's in the form of his life. Now Shubman Gill failed to score too many, or rather 40 odd against CSK, so given the conditions there, it was a valuable innings. But let's put it this way, he failed to take his team over the line there, so he more than made up for it in Ahmedabad, and the Mumbai bowlers bore the brunt of it. His score of 129 of 60 balls was his third 100 in this tournament, not consecutive hundreds, by the way. There was a fifth, in between there was a break, but the score of 129 is also the highest by a batter in the IPL playoffs. It was also the third highest score in a T20 playoffs game, behind Chris Gale's 146 unbeaten in 2017 and Tamim Iqbal's 141 in 2019, both in the Bangladesh Premier League, of course. Gujarat also amassed 233 for 3, which is the highest score by any team in a playoffs match in the IPL. So record stumbled as the Mumbai bowlers wilted under the weight of Gill's willow. Now, why is Gill so special? Everyone knew for a long time that Gill was going to be the next big thing in Indian cricket, and we've seen enough evidence of that in ODIs, T20Is and Test cricket too. But in the IPL, it always looked like he was being a bit cagey. While opening the batting for KKR in previous seasons, he got starts but was unable to convert them. And when he did play shots, just when it looked like he was going to shift gears, he used to get out. But now with GT, it seems like he's been given the freedom to take his game to another level, and by that I mean add the dimension of power hitting. Now he's been hitting sixes at will. Yesterday he hit quite a few. And now what difference that has come in his game is the fact that he's hitting the balls in the slot. Earlier maybe you just time them around for a 4 or maybe even take 1s or 2s, but now he makes sure that if the ball is loose, it gets treated, it gets the treatment that it deserves, and that makes a huge difference to his power game. And let's not forget, he also has the experienced Ridwan Saha at the other end, who doesn't get talked about as much, I feel, but his presence has gone a long way in helping Gill and the rest of the Gujarat batters bat the way they do. They give these quick 30 out of 15 or 40 out of 20 balls gives the top order the freedom to keep playing at a higher pace, and this is something that has been acknowledged by various GT players throughout the tournament and the coaching staff too. Now coming back to the second qualifier, it was always going to be an uphill task, mind you, chasing 233. If they had chased it, it would have been the highest run chase in the IPL. And let's not forget, if any team could have done that, it was Mumbai, because they had made a habit of chasing down 200 with the pack of power hitters they had in the playing 11. And briefly, it did look like they were going for it. When Tilak Verma was batting the way he did, and Surya Kumar Yadav was doing Surya Kumar Yadav things. But once Surya's wicket fell of the bowling of Mohit Sharma, it looked like Mumbai's fate had been sealed. The Mumbai's campaign has been indicted by a number of injuries to its fast bowlers, but one of the key reasons for its failure to make it to the final, or perhaps for the inconsistent performances. Although they did make it to the playoffs, it goes without saying that Mumbai wasn't as consistent as it would have wanted to be. It is down to Rohit Sharma's form, because in the years that they have done spellbindingly well, Rohit has led from the front with the bat, but this year that's not been the case. He has struggled to get going, and whenever he has failed to convert it into a big score. And that has been a concern for Mumbai throughout the campaign, and we hope that Rohit turns things around in next season, and more importantly, Indian cricket would hope that Rohit turns things around with the World Test Championship final around the corner. But that's for another day. In the end, Mohit Sharma, of course, ended up taking 5 wickets in quick succession, and that ultimately sealed Mumbai's fate and ensured that Gujarat qualified for their second IPL final in only their second year in this tournament, which is a brilliant show from Hardik Pandya's men. So that was about the playoffs. Now just a quick look at what the final could have in store for us. It's Dhoni versus Hardik. They have played each other just a few days back, so they would be aware of what to expect. The conditions are going to be slightly different than what the teams had in Chennai, and both games have been more on the high scoring side, so expect the teams to sort of look to bat first. If the pitch is, it does look like it's batter friendly, then expect them to win the toss and bat first and put up a big total, because even if it's not too big, even if it's a 170, 180, you can never ever discount the scoreboard pressure in a final. So, and especially against against teams that have good bowling attacks. However, I would say that Gujarat would go into this game as favourites, despite knowing that Chennai beat them earlier, because Gujarat has variety in its bowling, and bowlers always win you matches, and Dhoni will be aware of that. So, and given the fact that Dhoni has won 4 titles, he would be well acquainted with the bag of tricks that Hardik could have in mind when the teams take the field. So the most important matchup, as far as I'm concerned, will be 2. The first one will be the CSK openers and how they fare against Mohammad Shami, who has been brilliant in the power play. Glorious exhibition of seam bowling, glorious exhibition of moving the ball both ways when it's still new, and how they fare against them will be very against Shami will be very important. And the second, and perhaps the more telling one, would be the middle order, the CSK middle order versus Rashid Khan. The guy has made a habit of picking up wickets. He has been on the expensive side, mind you. He's been going for plenty of runs by his standards, that is, but he's also picked up wickets, and Hardik isn't complaining. So he is going to be extremely crucial once again. We've seen that not only in IPL but also international cricket, Rashid likes to bowl in the middle overs and 1 over at death. but CSK could force Hardik's hand by going after the GT paces and force Rashid to bowl one in the power play. So yeah, as you can see, plenty of variables in the equation here. It's anybody's guess at the moment who could tilt the scales in which team's favor. And we at Sportstar will keep a close tab on all the action. So do follow us on social media and do follow our live blog on the day of the final. Until then, this is Anna Acharya signing off. Thank you so much.